Morning, good morning. This is Marvelous Monday. Marvelous Monday with Regina. On Morning Tea with Regina. I hope everyone had a wonderful Mother's Day. Memory lane, house parties, Zoom, even in the house with those you love. However you spent it, remembering, loving, caring, even self-caring. I hope you took very good care of yourself and that you enjoyed a day where mothers are recognized. I read somewhere on Facebook, they said, well, mothers, good morning. Man-made holiday, but mothers are celebrated every day. Well, sometimes just pausing. Good morning, Maury. Just pausing to recognize. A video was shared with me. My husband shared the video with me. And it was like an interview, an executive. And he was interviewing different people. And he was telling them that they were going to have to do rigorous work, stand up 24/7. There's no sitting. And the people he was interviewing was like, that's brutal. Can you do that? And then at the end, he shared that, and it's no pay. And all these requirements to have the job, and the people were just blown away like, no, that's not going to work. I'm not taking that job. And at the end, it went on to talk about, good morning, how mothers do it 24/7. I thought that was so powerful, and it made me laugh. And at the end, good morning, cuz. And at the end, it literally it brought tears to my eyes, because that's true. Mothers are 24/7, and they really don't get a break. And even when children get older, we still are mothers. We still are there for our children. And again, I hope that the memories, the time spent, I know that this was a first time for some people that I know without their mothers, and so I really pray for them, for their hearts and their minds. And no one can tell you how to grieve, when you're on a grief journey. No one can tell you how to grieve. And oftentimes, we live in a society that thinks that, okay, your grief should be over. But no one can tell you even how long to grieve. It's your grief. It's your grief period. Now, there are times when you can get stuck in grief. That is true. But you don't want to rush your grief period. It's your period. There are stages to grief. And there's no order of grief. There is no order. We barter. We're angry. We're depressed. Hey, how you doing? There is no order of grief. And no one grieves the same. Nobody. So it's your time. And don't let no one else tell you how to grieve or you got to get over it. It's your grief period. Now, when it goes on for years and years and years, that's a different story. But when you're losing someone or have lost even in a marriage or whatever is going on, it takes time. You have holidays that you never had to deal with without this individual. Special days, memory lane, whatever it was that you're going to hit those marks. And so you have to give yourself time and be patient with yourself. And if you need to go to a field and scream, then do so. Do your grief, because it belongs to you and nobody else. So I just wanted to say that. Now today what I'm going to be talking about is still talking on leading self. But what I wanted to address today is something so powerful that we can oftentimes maybe not give much attention to. And that is valuing ourselves. Valuing ourselves. And in order for us to add values to others, we have to add value to ourselves. You know, when you're on the plane and they tell you during the instructions that if something was to happen, when the oxygen mask fall, that you need to make sure that you put yours on first before you can help the person next to you. That's true. You have to add value to you before you can add value to somebody else. You have to take care of you before you can really take care of somebody else. And oftentimes I have found, even with myself, particularly when I was growing up, and I'm sure some ladies can relate to this, and even some young ladies, that we end up trying to give ourselves to people when we really haven't fully understood or invested in ourselves. See, we have to make an investment in ourselves. We have to bet on ourselves that we are worthy of love, that we are worthy of great love. As a matter of fact, my daughter her name is Amanda. It means worthy of great love. Because I felt every time I spoke her name that I was speaking love into her spirit. Worthy of great love. And God gave me her name. So we cannot value ourselves enough in order for us to value others. Now, there are people who have great confidence in themselves. They're able to give that love, and that is wonderful. But there are people who will put others ahead of them, and they end up with hurts and pains, and wondering how come they're constantly in one predicament after the other, or why they keep meeting the same person. Every time I turn around, I meet this same type of person. And they're looking for love. And everybody wants to be loved. Everybody. Everybody wants to be loved. It's just innate that we want to be loved. And so, good morning, Allison. So let's look at this for a minute. So this is a look in a mirror. Now, I'm about to date myself again, but I'm sure even young people, not maybe so young, but know about The Man in the Mirror by Michael Jackson. I'm looking at the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his ways. Oftentimes we look external rather than internal to figure out what's going on. We think that there are problems with other people rather than seeing that we're the problem. Because every situation that we go into, particularly when it relates to other people, we take ourselves into those same relationships. We take us, not them, even though we end up taking them, because that's another story of being soul tied. But when we meet someone else new, we take us into the relationship. So the man in the mirror, the woman in the mirror is very important to look at. And so a look in the mirror is a powerful look at our self-esteem. A powerful look. Good morning, Sherry. A powerful look at our self-esteem, our behavior, what we think about ourselves. It's good for us to look at that and to hear that. We often deal with ourselves on a surface level, but we need to deal with ourselves in listening to what we say. How you doing? What are we saying? What are we saying to ourselves when we walk through the day? What's on our mind? So self-esteem is very powerful. Low self-esteem, it puts a ceiling on your potential. When we have low self-esteem, you really don't reach your potential. Now, my Bible says, and whatever you serve, however you serve, I'm not knocking anybody's religion or spirituality, but it says I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Fearfully and wonderfully made. There are things, and I think I shared this before, about the brain that scientists still don't understand. How we operate and how we work. Imagine how we go to sleep and how we wake up. How we utilize our hands, our feet, our body moves. And then it goes on to tell me that that he breathes in me. He breathes life in me. Anytime life can go right out of me. Those are things I do not have control over. A breath brings me to life. I move and my being is in God. Yes, it is. I truly believe that. But I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. Think about that. That's a good thought. Think about your thoughts. And every thought that you have is not your thought. Thoughts come from our environment. They come from the way we were reared, our peers, media, the world around us, worldviews. So it's very important for us to get in touch with our worldviews. But going back to having a low self-esteem, it puts a ceiling on our potential because of fear. Fear can do that. Anger, unforgiveness, all of those things that we have in our heart can put a ceiling on our potential. And then you may say, well, how do you know that? Because in the way that we express ourselves, the way that we hold ourselves back, and being able to accomplish things or give things because of things that have happened to us. So if our self-esteem is at a 2, then guess what? We're only going to ceiling at a 1. If it's at a 5, we're only going to go as far as a 4. You're not going to go above your self-esteem. And when people do go above their self-esteem, they self-sabotage. They can be on top of the world. And there are many, what they would consider successful, because it's how you identify success. If you look at success as being material things, there are many successful people, good morning, who have, Taisha, good morning, my niece, who have killed themselves. And I got a nice bag from Kate. I can't remember her last name, but I think it's just been maybe not even a year that she took her life. So things don't make us. Material things don't make us. They're nice. But I'll share one other thing that it just comes from the Bible for me, that it gives me a right perspective. It tells me to seek ye the kingdom of heaven and all his righteousness and all Kate Spade. Yes, Kate Spade. Thank you. Got one of her purses right now and she's gone. But it tells me to seek ye first the kingdom of heaven and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto me. All these things shall be added unto me. And that means that God's going to give me direction. He's going to give me discernment. He's going to show me how to walk and what to do, because I'm seeking him, seeking his face about it. And why not? Because I just said my premise was that I'm fearfully and wonderfully made, and he breathes life in me. So he's capable of doing it. Good morning, Johnny. But I was not always at this point. So let me just say that too. I had a very low self-esteem. As a matter of fact, I would tell people it was in the bottom of my shoe. Putting people ahead of me. Walking around with hurts, pain, rejection, anger. Wondering why, loneliness, all of that. Until I got a healing. And God started dealing with my heart. And then I began to understand who I really am. And who made me. Good morning, Karen. And that has not come without a struggle. So I'm not going to lie to you about that either. That has been a struggle. Getting rid of unforgiveness. What someone did to me and how they did it. Ruminating in my mind about various things. That's still, you got to work on that. You got to get rid of that. I want to reach my potential. I want to be who God made me. But it's not going to come without a struggle. So the way we think about ourselves, when we allow thoughts in our mind, well, those thoughts become powerful, and those thoughts turn into action. So I just want to encourage us today. And I'll talk about some other things. I think it's 7:45 now, and I want to thank you. So I'll continue this on tomorrow when we can talk a little bit more about it. But I hope that what I have said to you today, that if you are struggling with anything in your heart, your mind, and your soul, that you will put it at rest. Rest. That's something I had to do too. I had to rest in God in order to allow him to bring me through some things. And every day you still have to prepare your mind to get up for action. Whether we know it or not, we are in a warfare. And we think on it on the physical level, but it's a spiritual thing. Well, thanks so much for listening to Regina, Morning Tea with Regina. And I just want to say to you, you can go to my website at reginachall.com. I have some masterminds as well as some trainings that are coming up. So reginachall.com. And you can go there, and I have a training that's coming up on Are You Stuck? Winning strategies to move forward. Yep, winning strategies that we can move forward to get out of being stuck, because we don't have to stay stuck. So we don't have to believe in that either, that my life is just this way. Another lie, because we are fearfully and wonderfully made. So join me tomorrow on Thoughtful Tuesday. And thanks for sharing Marvelous Monday with me on Good Morning Tea with Regina. Inspiration and encouragement. Again, hit me up, www.reginachall.com. Check out my events and check out my website and leave me a note. Take care now.